KRM Beach of 5522, Saquarema City, Rio de Janeiro State Federative Unit, Brazil, from Security for supporting the NATO. We will consider in a very first moment that the most concern, at least looks like, of this environment as conjuncture, which was proved evidence trending to -1 and proved one more time after the review as a deeper level 00, is understand how this communication goes. You will have this opportunity because the cluster area as a fractal integration as a failure on the public system by Article 2381 and 74 will be presented and requested, oriented, I would say, to the President as chair based on Article 84, Item 7. Then you can and should consider quit the abuses because you will have this conversation, at best. And the cluster, considering the Alice in Wonderland, we will understand that the financial control exists and the Wonderland indeed will put many of you into the destitute illusion. You will lose everything by Sergio, and many of you, or all of you, will be sent to jail. The NATO. The situation can request abusive procedures by local area as interference, doing the continuity of wrongdoing by not, accomplishment with the law and the Constitution. We will check that today is 24. We had this presented yesterday, which was the research, the localization, and internet security things we had yesterday. We will move forward considering the situation and we are facing as a simulation, but of course that the viral idea, like the queen viral, contaminating our mind since the 8th century by Adam Smith's ideas and the liberalism. Then we had the capitalism on it, and we will solve the problem of offering a solution that will be presented by the chair, which is leading this case, I would say. It's a white label activity. We only offer the solution, sometimes solve the things, but the glamorous moment we consider to be with the people that likes the spotlight. I like the underground, kind of the basement. We'll check that the first model that we had was the frontier of possibilities between Russia and Ukraine. And Russia has a limited area, but something very strategic, which is the military enforcement. And Ukraine has the capacity to do the production of a lot of things. And sometimes Ukraine can be, crossed with other area as an extended field as frontier of possibility to do the magic of capitalism, but everything available to be at the Russia supermarket and stores. But Russia will kind of give up this idea as invasion and considering a dialogue as a multilateral dialogue by a single institution which has the density inside of the entire European blocks and other. It's named the NATO. We will check like this. The model here is kind of the Gauss curve and the distribution. And we could observe this before the same way. Now we will check that the situation is like this. We have here the Russia. And the Russia kind of had associated with Ukraine by a threat as an invasion and was formed a belt surrounding and protecting Ukraine. But it doesn't mean being belligerent against the Russia because it's faced as a simulation. And here is our belt surrounding the Russia. And we had announcement on Italy and Germany about the Constitutional Committee to guarantee, and I put this clear, a second nationality Portuguese, the continuity of the financial system and the economic patterns for stability and security. Not having surprised by changing and having a new constitution or something like this. And Russia indeed is surrounded, but it's not by a belligerent thing. It's a steering committee, and you are as angle stone of this committee. Ukraine is kind of having the relation with other areas, like the capitalism, and of course the things goes by the principle of counting in an exponential movement. We have a stock option on market on Russia, maybe you will have. So everything by this association, Russia and Ukraine, with threats, by threats at the very first moment, even as a simulation. And we had a circle protecting the Ukraine, and kind of we have a, a circle as self-protection for we all, which is the information coming and going from Ukraine and the rest of the world and transferring to Russia. Russia will be, talking with the other chairs at this steering committee. We could understand before that we have two patterns as behaviors, the virus and the bacteria at the business, as something, comparative to understand. And the association between the business and interest could be, for instance, the Russia can be divided as virus or a bacteria. And in the same way, we can put a value as positive 1 or 0, 0 with no quality on it, only the value to be got like this. And we observe that here they are kind of different things, but they can be associated by the liberalism and the viral idea of our viral queen, I would say, with something like this. And we will match patterns as communication codified even if we do not have the explicit association by holographic model. We will check that this combination as premise 1 1 or 0 0 can have by counting of principle, and you have this at the curve as normal distribution Gauss curve or the Heckscher model the same way. Positive 1 can be combined with positive 1 real business all the time, at least as explicit, implicit, but you must check the motivation. Or can be 0 0. But if it goes associated with 0 0 will be hidden, and indeed this is a value negative 1. And this trace as highlighting 0 0 positive 1 with internal association 0 0. Now talk about with pipes criminal and explicit as negative 1. We switched the order as notice to be noticed and have the continuity of this. When you got caught with the hands in the eggs, for instance, in 2014 by IMF and United Nations and complaints, and you continue things, got complained one more time, a dozen times, you kind of are acting by the systematical and continuous behavior to do not have explicit notice the criminal association going as corruption on a regular area. But when you do this so many times, that got under notoriety, and the circumstance by systematic behavior do not allow to, assume the possibility as not intention, to have the criminal intention. This is how the model goes as USSR. In the center, the NATO surrounding, the center associated with the external area that is associated with a more external area. Now we will put values here to understand things, and we can consider by patterns as traces of business. For instance, if you consider that this is a simulation, this entire area is positive 1. Is this confirmed? Positive 1 as the crown, positive 1 as the thing, you know, the origin, I would say, or the angle stone. And the extended area is positive 1. If this goes like this, any single unit or contract as business or even the transfers as debt and credit, supply and demand, investment saving, liquidity manicure, pointing to a different value is outlined. You can use the basic Microsoft to do this research. Problem solving. I bet it's solved, but it will be presented by the chair, Mr. Stoltenberg. Is this correct? And considering the procedures made in Brazil to obtain a cluster of information, led maybe by Alice and the Wonderland, and they must be in Wonderland, considering a witness program, and facing this complaint by Mr. Jürgen Stock Interpol as terrorist trafficking, commodity drugs and man trafficking, commoditizing drugs and gun trafficking. And it was reported as a terrorist activity. If you do a search at your public department and have had the redistribution or use your procedures to put anyone innocent down, you may be you know beefing up and encourage. You are being encouraged by this culture of fear. We only change the order as the main. When you encourage, you are in charge. When you got encouraged, you had someone in charge in you or protecting you by corruption and nepotism. The continuity of this failure at scams go on like this. But you are all clustered, and this presentation will be made by the chair number 1 respecting the article 84, item 7 of the Brazilian Constitution. If this got faced by this steering committee here, that is a paramilitary organization considering threats as weapon of mass destruction and genocide, predicted from consumed by a deeper level as the institute, of course that will be declared as perpetrating war crime. Any question, criminal offender? Have a nice week.